Okay, we are back. Your favorite girls. I know you missed us. What we should have like a gossip girl, what do they say on Gossip Girl? Mm,
XOXO, Gossip Girl.
XOXO Gossip Girl. We're back. Yeah,
Yes,
no, we're very glad to be back. And this is a day that we've been waiting for our entire lives. We all know the only reason we podcast is so we can podcast on shows like Bridgerton.
yep,
Fun shows that deserve more accolades than they get.
agreed.
Although I'm not too sure about the characters in this season. But it's okay. It's
You should,
okay.
that's your opinion. I disagree.
Let's ease into it. Let's ease into it. So, and actually, like people came here for a reason.
Mhm.
We had a plan, and our plan was like, oh, we'll talk about what Bridgerton is. But since I've come in with like some hot piping hot fire, I now need to just know what you thought. Like just off the bat, let's just do this.
Okay, let's get into it. What did I think about the first part? Like the
Like
first four episodes?
your initial reactions to episodes 1 to 4. What were they?
Okay, I was excited. I've been waiting for Penelope and Colin season for
Really? Can
yes.
you just tell me why you've been waiting for
I
Penelope and Collins?
like their story. Like, what's there not to like? I like Penn as a character, and I was excited.
Okay, so see, this is the problem. What do you like
Yeah,
about Penelope?
what's not to? You know what? What do I
Do you
like
know
about
what?
Penelope? I'm not gonna be cliche and say, oh, she's a wallflower and I relate to her. No, I just like her as a person. She's a complex human being who likes gossip and is running
That's
gossip.
true.
She's the I wouldn't say TMZ or like Shade Bar because those are, bottom barrel, but
Hmm.
like she's a culture custodian. She's the mover and shaker of Mayfair of London.
She's
She's
the
setting
mover and
trends.
shaker of
Yeah.
Mayfair, London. Okay, to be
What's
honest, Lady Whistledown is the mover and shaker. She's an entrepreneur. She
yeah.
is basically what they talk about in Poor Things, where it's like Emma Stone's Bella's walking and she goes, oh,
Hmm.
this is she talks about Marxism, and I think it's Marxism. Anyway, basically, she's using her womanly skills to make money. She's doing things. She's out there. I
Hmm.
get it, but she's
Yeah.
also something else, though.
What is she?
Very annoying.
You think
Extremely annoying.
Penelope is annoying?
Extremely annoying. And actually I was going to
Elaborate. Explain this.
I
Explain
was
how
going to
Penelope is
leave
annoying.
this and bury the lead until we started doing episode by episode analysis, but
Mm-mm.
she's always whimpering about something. She's always crying about something. She always has an issue with something. She's and like I want people to listen, and I want to leave my like hotter takes
You know
for
what?
later.
I'm gonna
But
leave
like I'm
this and
just
say she's just a girl, Aisha. Like,
no,
what do you want from
no,
her?
stop. Don't say that.
What do you want from her?
Don't make me feel bad by referencing something I am justified just the girls. Don't do that to
She
me.
is just a
Oh no.
girl. Leave
But
Pen
she's not though,
alone. She's done nothing
because
wrong.
I just and like, I guess we should start off by talking about where we left off in season two, with
Mm-hmm.
Penelope, where she has this huge fight with Eloise,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of things are said, like a lot of biting comments. And I think you start off this episode one, on really at the precipice of that. We don't know how much time has passed, but we start off, we're back in the world. We're hearing Lady Whistle down. We're hearing them on carriages. We're seeing
Mm-hmm.
everything. We're being thrust in, but we know that there's this rift between these two girls. And I don't know. There's something about her. I thought after last season she was going to like go rogue, because she had rogue energy towards the end of last season. She was like, I thought I was expecting some more. I was expecting some fire. I expected her to come to the next season being like, okay, I'm here. We're doing this.
Yeah.
And I
But then
didn't get
again,
that.
that's not who Pen is though. Like that's not who
Pen.
she is as a
Is that pun
person.
intended? Pen, Penelope. Her pen.
Yes.
Ooh.
That's not
So,
who she is. That's not who she is
uh,
as a person. I wasn't expecting her to come into the season with like vim and energy for Eloise. Um and like to
no,
be
no, I
honest,
don't. I don't think. Yeah, the Louise thing. I think is heartbreaking. Really, when we look at it, I mean,
mhm.
that's my initial reaction. I think any friendship breakup is awful, and they
Yeah.
definitely portrayed that quite well. Um, but I just saw Vim for everything else. Like she had Vim. Where's Vim? Vim gone. I don't know. Okay, well, you can spend this episode convincing me as to why we should like Penelope because right now I don't.
I
Maybe
will.
because I'm a Katrina Sharma person, so I'm very like I'm maybe on the opposite end of the spectrum. I don't know.
Mm.
Perhaps. Uh, but yeah, let's go into what is Bridgerton. So Bridgerton is basically, if you don't know what Bridgerton is, I know why I listened to this episode. But maybe your boyfriend, no, sorry, maybe your girlfriend. Oh, maybe your boyfriend too.
Yeah.
Maybe your boyfriend or girlfriend or they them, all this walk up here. Maybe your I'll just say girlfriend from there for simplicity because we're just girls. Maybe your girlfriend is watching Bridgerton and you want to impress her by just showing all your knowledge about this thing. So I give you like a brief summary of what Bridgerton is. It's like based on these books by Julia Quinn, and they basically follow each of the Bridgerton children. This is the book about the book called Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, and or romancing the you know, something around that. Around that, I always get these things very wrong, actually. Which is why it's good to have Bankole here because he actually knows. He actually knows things like. I mean, we can share on Bankole all we want. We love him, but he is very like producery. He knows like all the names,
Yeah.
and I'm
He
always
does his
there. Like,
homework. He's very
actually, I
serious.
want to also say something because in the Ripley episode, Bankole was also present for the first one, because he's so kind. And basically he was like feeding me feeding me when I
Information.
forget things.
Aw.
And he would like feed me the names of things because I'm very forgetful and I don't remember anything. I'm often like saying something, I'm like, oh, it's this thing, it's a thing, like a thing of a thing in a thing, which doesn't really help when you're listening to a podcast. So yeah, that's the book, and it's the fourth book. I have to just open up and say that my favorite book was the Kate and Anthony book, which I think is the best book. Another good book is the Sophie and the other brother's
Benedict?
name, Benedict book. That's
Hmm.
another really good book. There's also the Duke. I think it's the Duke and I, or the Duke and
The
something,
Duke
which
and
is
I,
the which is
Daphne.
Daphne's book.
Yeah.
That's Daphne's book. Daphne's book, I think, was the one that caught all the popularity really, and
Hmm.
then I guess gave her, blew, she blew up and she started writing more, and she had this cult following, and then she got made into this TV show that's produced by Shonda Rhimes, the Shondaland production. Underneath this kind of Bridgerton world, you have the Queen Charlotte story, which is fantastic and deeply sad, and also
Oh,
really annoyed at
heartbreaking.
Shonda Rhimes for doing that to me. It was really annoying.
Heartbreaking.
Like I came there for something and I got something entirely different. And I just don't think I can ever watch it again because it's just so painful.
I will not be
Although
rewatching Queen
it
Charlotte.
just
It's
was
too
awful,
sad.
wasn't it? It was so sad. And actually I think it's sad because Corey, who is the actor that is in it with India, God forgive me, I cannot pronounce both of their
Mortifico.
surnames. Yes, and she
Yeah.
has it on her Instagram because she knows people fuck it up.
Hmm.
And I'm just not even going to try because I I just don't want to get it wrong. So India and Corey, they did that, and it's not we're not talking about Queen Charlotte, but honestly, if you want to watch that, it's not Bridgerton. It's very different. I think it's more venereal. It's deeper. It's doing a lot, and it's deeply sad. And Corey looks amazing in that. I'm so
He
sorry.
does. Oh,
So
good
good.
milk, good milk.
He's like has his shirt off and he's in the farm. He's farming and he's a farmer. And this is so funny because my friends laughed at me because I've always been that girl that's just wanted a farm. I just want to
Mm.
farm. I just want to like honestly, the fact that I'm here doing a podcast is surprising to everyone in my family because I'm actually very introverted actually. I come off as an extrovert, but I'm not, and I really my ideal life is to do what I need to do in the world, and then after my popularity has died down, or even not, I just escape to
Retire?
my farm.
Like retired
Yes,
or
I escape
farm?
to my farm, and I have my things, and maybe I'm like married to Joshua Connor, and we both do pottery together, and
Mm.
like that kind of like that is my ideal life,
So like
really.
Zayn.
Yeah, basically, like I just want a farm. I really just want a farm. I don't know. I like the peace and quiet, and
A
the
farm.
so yeah. So seeing him as a farmer, all my friends laughed at me. They were just like, "Oh God, like this is it for you, isn't it?" And he's also a king. I'm like, oh my God, wow, you must marry him. Um. So yeah. So if anybody has the real life king in Queen Charlotte in real life, hook me up, match make me. Honestly, I'll go on the date, and then we move from there. Anyway, okay, so this was like a long thing about Bridgerton and Queen Charlotte. Just watch it if you don't want to. Season 2 is really good. Season 1 is also quite good. Give it a go and see how you feel. It is quite steamy. I would also say, like I say, don't watch it with your grandma or your grandpa or your mom or your
Specifically
dad.
season one. Don't watch it with.
So true.
Don't do that.
You know what? I actually watched season 1 with my sister, and it was still awkward as hell.
Ugh,
So yeah,
Lord.
I don't really think I'm ever going to try that. But yeah, so that is what Bridgerton is, and I hope you're still here. I mean, I guess the ones that want to impress their girlfriends will be taking notes. Hopefully, we like a man that is studious. Okay, so what is your relationship to Bridgerton, Lolade? What is the
um, so I didn't really get into the books because I don't like period or like
okay?
Regency.
Let's get into this. But you like
Yeah,
watching it.
I do. I like I said, I would watch The Gilded Age. I would watch Downton Abbey. I love Bridgerton. I just can't bring myself to read them. There's just something about it, and I'm just like,
What
no,
do you
thank
think that
you.
is? I'm so curious. Maybe it's actually because okay, so the difference between the book and these shows is that
Mm,
in the book obviously the English is of that time, and I think in the show they make it a bit more modern. Actually, they
mm-hmm.
actually make it even more so. Although it's authentic, it's a bit I guess it's for palatable audiences on TV.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why you don't like it.
Honestly,
I
I
don't
don't think it's
know.
the English. I think it's I can't relate to it. Like I know
That's
the
true.
TV show, like yeah, there's black people in it who are like
Mm,
lords and viscounts and whatever. It's not realistic. I know, but like the books make it more so realistic and like you know what you're reading. And I'm just like
yeah.
I can't get into this. I'm sorry.
Mm,
It's just the same
mm.
way I can't read like fantasy books either.
That's so interesting that you can't read. Because do you know what book do you know what book series you'd love?
Don't
A
say
Court of
Akatar.
Thorns and no. Oh
Oh
my, no.
God.
I have a deep love for James Cameron. He's the
Mm-hmm.
best, and he's always pictured, in a submarine because he does takes his job really seriously. So
Uh-huh.
I love him for that, and I don't know. I'm obsessed with like I don't know, slightly men that are just obsessed with some one thing. So I don't know why James Cameron is another thing. Um, I don't know why I'm revealing so much today. I think it's because of like a lot and I are obviously like we're friends.
Yeah,
A
we're
lot of knows
friends.
that I basically it's probably like my tiredness. I'm just like gonna say everything in my life now today. So funny. Um, no, I've lost my train of thought now, which is terrible.
You're
I think we
recommending.
were talking about, yes, I was recommending to you
Mhm.
Sarah J. Mass. Have you heard of Sarah J. Mass?
I have. Isn't it those
She
like
wrote these books
fairy
like
books?
yes, about the fairies, but spelled with
Yeah.
Faerie.
What
Yes,
is
very.
that?
So basically, Sarah J. Maas is, actually, Bridgerton lovers would love Sarah J. Maas books. Okay, this is another. Like now we're in a
Hmm.
book club. I love this. Um, she wrote the Throne of Glass, Throne of I think
I
the
think
Throne of
so.
Glass series,
Yeah.
and she also wrote a Court of Thorns and a Court of Thorns and Roses, and I also think a Court of Thorns and Roses is better than the Throne of Glass in a way. I think for in terms of your newcomer, easing yourself
Mm-hmm.
into, I think I'll start with the Court of Thorns and Roses. Basically about these fairies, there's this they're royal and they're fighting something, but it's this romance, a bit of smart, but also just romance. It's amazing, amazing, amazing,
Oh
amazing.
no.
MC male character called
Mm-hmm.
Rysand or Ray, or is it Rysand or Raysand
Yeah,
or
I think
Reese?
I've
Reese, basically. And no, yeah, honestly, I know you don't like fantasy, but you will love it. Like
I'll
it's
try.
good.
Like the only
It
thing I
is
do
good.
the only thing I do read, I will read about like, werewolves and vampires. Like that's where I
No, but
draw
it's good
my
because
hard
they're
limit.
not like, some of them are kind of like werewolf, as I said, like have wings and stuff because they're fairies and stuff like that. But there's some of them are
Hmm.
like werewolf esque, and it has its own world. The world has its own paradigms, and oh, it's nice. It's so fun. I just
You
think
know
you'll love
what?
it.
I'll add it to
I
my
think you'll
TBR
absolutely love it.
and I'll let you know.
Yes, let me know. Let me
I'll let you
know.
know.
I'm not going to say I would love to read it tonight. I'm not going to say I'm going to read it because you know what happened. Do you know what happened to me? Do you know what happened to
What?
me? Last episode, you guys really need to be listening to episodes because you'd actually have a continuum that's kind of nice. I said I was
Uh-huh.
going to watch High School Musical 3
Did you?
that night. No, because and it wasn't my fault actually. It was not my fault. It was not my fault. That night, I God knows what happened that night, but something happened that night. I remember being so pissed off. And I thought about it today at work. I was like, I wanted to watch High School Musical 3. I never got to. And I was so pissed off. So I'm not gonna say anything now to not jinx it, but it's in the works, in the works. But that night, I was so nervous. I was like, I really want to watch it. And I was about to text you, like, I'm about to load up. I had loaded it up, ready to watch it.
Hmm.
I think some family member called me. It's always their fault. I have to blame them. It's always their fault. They called me and then they roped me into some conversation about their lives,
Oh
as if as if
man.
I want to hear that and not watch High School Musical 3. Um anyway, yeah, that is another book that people might like. Sarah J. Maas, everyone. So yeah, so you talked about initial reactions to the episode, and
Hmm.
you said that you were waiting for Pen. So I want to know actually, did you like season two?
I love season two. You already know I'm an enemies to lovers girl,
Oh yes,
so
that's
I was
true.
I
And that
was
was done
living
really well.
really well. And
That was
like
done really well.
Kate, I can relate to Kate, oldest daughter in like an
Are you? Oh
ethnic
yes, you said you are. Yes, you
household.
are.
So like
I always forget
it's just so she's
Can't
so
relate.
relatable. But
I
yeah,
cannot relate.
I love
No,
Canthony. They're
no.
my favorites.
No, their
Um
chemistry was insane. Although
Beautiful.
now I'm wondering after seeing Jonathan Bailey being Jonathan Bailey in every single way, especially now in a Met Gala, he's out there.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, is it him though? Because he just has a sex appeal that's insane.
It's
And I'm just
Jonathan
kind of like, it
Bailey,
must
yeah.
be Jonathan because I was like,
It's
no
Jonathan.
offense to Simone Ashley, but God, like just seeing him, and also I would like to speak about them, the continuation of them in this. I like the fact that we got to see them,
Yep.
and I liked how it wasn't as abrupt as
Yeah.
Daphne and the Duke.
I
But I guess that was because of
loved
actors' choices in the real
yeah.
life
Hmm.
too. But I really liked seeing them there, and it just was a nice transition to see them, then also not see them after a while to like let the main character shine. But
Yeah.
there was like a gaping hole for me, being like, I miss them. I want to see them. I want them to
I
fight
do
again.
no. I do think they'll be back though in like the second part.
They might be. They
I
might be
feel like
back.
they
I
will be
think the
back
the actors are very interested in being there,
in the
so
story,
I
yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if they are. But then again, maybe they won't be back because just this another logistic thing. Jonathan Bailey shooting Wicked, so
Mm,
he might not be. You know what I mean? He might not be as free
yeah.
as the
True.
rest are. But I liked seeing them there, and then. But I just feel like when we go episode by episode, we can talk about that. But I feel like there was some parts where I was like, line reading here, this here. Not sure if this works.
Yeah,
But
we
anyway,
can talk about that. I
yeah, we can
think
talk about that.
yeah, before we
Yes.
start going episode by episode, like maybe we should go
Mm.
through the tropes and so you
Oh my
know
gosh,
what you're
yes.
getting into
Yes.
for the season.
Yes.
So,
Maximum fun.
yes, best of
Yes.
times.
Okay,
So,
introduce us.
the main tropes for the season
Hmm.
is it's giving friends to lovers.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And
giving she fell first, he falls harder.
is that
Dating
a trope?
coach. It is.
I didn't know that was a trope.
It is.
She fell first, he falls harder.
He
I like
fell
that.
harder, yeah. Dating
I like
coach.
that.
Dating
Dating,
coach
oh
is a
yeah,
trope.
dating coach. That is a trope. I
Yep.
haven't read many dating coach romance not romance books lately, actually.
I have
Yeah,
some
I
recs
need
for
to read.
you. I'll give
I
them to
need
you
to, oh
later.
no, no. We're gonna have some fun. Ooh,
Yeah.
exciting.
And
Okay.
I guess you could say best friend's brother as well, because I mean Eloise and Penelope were best friends.
BFB.
Yeah.
BFB. Best friend's brother is the one for me.
So yeah, those are the main
Victoria Justice.
tropes for romancing Mr. Bridgerton.
Yeah, that's true. Those are the main tropes. I agree. I think so, and it's actually nice that you said all those because I would only have thought about one, which was friends to
Friends
lovers,
lovers.
and there way more than that. And we should also introduce how we're going to kind of break down this episode. We
Hmm.
have two fun segments that we've added on because we like to do fun stuff for you. We have something called the dripping wet scale. Okay, this is basically, oh my god, this is basically kind of about what
By the
scale. Like,
way,
let's say
this we should say this episode is rated 18.
this for 18
Um,
and over. So if you have your kid, I don't know, like your kid, the person you're babysitting, your cousin's child, your nephew, your niece, I don't know, whatever that child is to you, do not play this episode. Also, do not play
around
this
them,
episode
no.
if you're like trying to like drive to work and you're expecting, a kind of calm drive with no like jolts or anything. Don't play this episode. Just don't turn it off right now. Okay. Anyway, so
So,
dripping wet scale. Okay, so scale, I would say one on the dripping wet scale is something like wasn't phased, completely dry, dry as
hmm,
hell, like
yeah.
dry as like a Jacob's cracker, dry. Although I do love Jacob's crackers. And then 10 is like um 10 is like you're completely soaked, like swimming pool soaked, like you're soaked.
Like you need to
And
change your underwear.
you need to change the panties
Yep.
soaked. And yeah, so that's dripping wet scale. And also kind of that's also how long did it take for you to look away because it was just too much for you to look at that scale. Then we also have, this is Lolade's own, Lolade's finest, I think is the best, which is the Horness scale, Horness
Yes.
level of the brothers.
Hmm.
Okay. Basically comparing the brothers and how much of like, little man whores they are. And all
Yep.
the brothers are man whores,
They
so
are.
sorry.
They all are whores.
I'm so sorry. Like I just when we go episode by episode, I'm just like, come on, guys. Like this is terrible behavior from every single one of you. You are all insatiable. And as a spoiler that I want to give, which even shows how literally like man whore the other brother is, because it's just like, what is he even doing? But anyway, it's the setup that they always do for all the brothers. They make them look like a complete man whore and they clean them up right before their own and they turn into this like one girl band and
Mm.
highly unrealistic, but fine. And then we will talk about the subplots as well. We have Francesca and the Earl. We have Cressida and Eloise. We have Benedict and yes, I also can't remember her name either. And you know what? Actually, I hate to give you spoiler alert. If you don't want to hear this, then please just skip like 30 seconds or whatever. This girl, he's not ending up with this girl. This is not the
He's
girl. So I don't
not.
know. I don't know what level of that. That's why he's such a whore. Because what is he
Benedict
doing?
is the worst.
She's not even the girl. Like this is just a like useless side plot. She's not even the girl. She's not the girl. She's not Sophie. So what is this anyway? Yeah. So we'll take you through that, and then we'll obviously go episode by episode, talk about more technical things, and you have all the fun. So yes, let's start with episode one. Were
Hmm.
your initial thoughts entering episode one?
My initial thought was Colin is a whore. That's the first thing on my notes. Colin is a whore.
Calling is a whore.
Literally.
Yeah,
From Jump,
he is a
that's
whore.
what we
He
see.
is a whore.
I'm just
To
like,
be honest, I wrote down also Colin comes back and he's actually not a dupe. I think because Colin the previous season was so annoying because they would be having serious conversations and he would come in the room and be like, "So Greece, like," and I'm just like, I don't give a fuck about your hot like. But I think now he comes back and it's actually kind of he seems somewhat refreshing. I
You
don't
know
know
what
about his
happened?
travels.
He lost his
What?
virginity. That's what happened.
Do you know what? Do you actually know what? Do you actually know what? This
What?
is so true, and this is why I'm obsessed with you. Like genuinely. And I'm so glad we're recording this. So we have this for the rest of our lives. I'm literally obsessed with her because I wouldn't have thought about this at all. But it's so fucking true. He
No, like
definitely lost his virginity. He
he
did.
lost his virginity, and then you can see how
Oh
that
my
affects his
gosh.
behavior from
This is
episode
so
1 through 3.
real. This is so this is
That's
so
the only thing that changed about Colin.
this is
Because you
so
see
real.
in the carriage on their way to like the debutante event thing they do, um Benedict and Anthony are like, what have you done with our brother? Usually by now you're boring us with like your stories about your travels and
Mm-hmm.
you're not saying anything. And he says something like, my time under different suns has given me some sense of proportion. Now, I know that was a joke towards like him bulking up and like, doing the
Yeah.
Bridgerton main
Yeah,
man,
yeah, the
um,
main man,
the makeover thing.
where they did, and
Yeah,
you know what's so funny is that the only person that's kept that has been Jonathan Bailey. The rest of them
yeah,
go back to their usual when they're done.
yeah.
Not to be rude, but it's true.
But yeah,
Anyway,
he says, "Give me a sense of proportion." Nothing gave him proportion. This man had sex for the first time on this year's travels, and it changed his whole perspective.
I'm
He
so
comes
sorry.
back.
I'm in absolute like shock right now because I just did not think about this at all. Like, and I watched them. I watched. By the way, I actually tried. I watched these episodes like 3 times. I tried,
Yeah,
and literally, I did not see this at all.
yeah,
This
no,
is wild, and
that's what
I agree.
changed.
I
Yeah, and
agree
like you
because he was
see,
such a wimp in the last
yeah,
season, and all of a sudden he's coming with this energy,
and he's
and
so
I'm just like,
suave and
what?
like charming, and he's like flirting with all the ladies, and he's like just
I just thought to
gallivanting
myself, like,
around
what
town.
has changed? Did he have a
No.
dating coach in Italy as well?
No.
No, but he did have a bedding partner, a bedmate, his bedmate, bedding partner, whatever, bedfellow,
Mhm.
what they call them.
Mhm.
Anyway, yeah, no, but it did start off with a bang. I feel like we were really reinserted into the world really
Yeah.
nicely. You had all these like bright colors. It was lovely. And another thing I noticed going back to Kay and Anthony, what this last thing I'll say about them, honestly, I'm not going to say too much. And one more thing, actually, which is a big thing,
Mhm.
which is the steamy thing. Um, Anthony
Mhm.
is so chill now. He's so chill now.
Yes.
Now that he's married,
Yes.
he was a completely different man. I was like, what
He's
is this man?
so
He's so
different.
chill. I was like, I wrote, Anthony's so chill. Oh my goodness, he's so chill. I was like, wow, this is a different him. He just seems so relaxed. He seems so,
Super
you know,
casual, like
see what a
just
good
going
woman
with
can
the
do for you.
flow.
Hmm. Hmm. This is a testimony they give in church. You know, it's a testimony. I'm sure they give in church about a good woman. No, and yeah. What do you think about Colin's change though? Because I didn't feel like it was abrupt, but then I also did feel like the girls fawning over him was a bit too much. Like he was saying absolute crap. Like
Rubbish.
like rubbish. The
Absolute
wink
rubbish.
awful. I'm so sorry. Like the first episode, it didn't sell me. I started to see his charm in the second and the third episodes. But the
Yeah,
first one, I was just like, you can't be falling
it's
for this
put
guy.
on though. He's
Yeah, true,
posturing.
but
It's a put on show. And like you notice that even Penn calls him out
oh
for it.
yes, as Lady Whistledown.
Yeah, as
Yeah,
Lady
I mean,
Wish.
and also also to him, but
It's
yeah, as
yeah,
Lady
he
Whistledown.
was posturing.
Yeah.
That's not who he is. We know who Colin is. Like
But it's weird. It's so theater. It just seems so like
it is.
strange.
It is,
Why
and I
is he
think
doing
that's
it?
the
And
point.
also, I think this adds to the thing about how him and his romantic interest, Pen,
Hmm.
which is gonna be so awful, but they're both very, very wimpy. Very
Yeah, they're
wimpy.
awkward people.
And you can see it when he goes up to her, that she's kind of like in the garden. I think
Uh-huh.
this is when he suggests to be his
Her
dating
coach,
coach, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and then he goes up to her, and he's talking to her, and just the way he's talking to her, first of all, it establishes that they have this friendship that works, and they
Hmm.
definitely are close, and you see it for the first time. But then also you see how much of a wimp they both are, and just like they fit each other already. Like this is like come together, guys.
Yeah, like I think they're both very, and like from the first season, they're both very, when I say socially awkward, like
Yeah.
introverts, sensitive
Mm-hmm.
people, and like that's who they are to their core. And so that's why Colin coming back from his travels this season, and he's like so charming, so suave. His hair is styled differently. He's wearing that
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous coat that I hate.
Mm. The rake.
Um
It's a quote of a rake.
yeah, exactly.
It's the rake quote, actually. Yeah, yeah.
He's like saying things to like the late like the girls on the marriage mart, and I'm just like, this is not you, Colin. Like this is not Colin. You're performing, and like who are
Mm.
you performing for is the thing. So yeah, that was my thing with episode 1. I think another thing about episode 1 was I wasn't expecting, to be honest about this entire season, I wasn't expecting it to move that fast.
Okay, can we actually talk about that? Because I enjoy that. I think that is what I enjoyed. Because the thing
Yeah.
about it is, you are not introducing a new character. I
Yeah.
mean, you are. We talk about Francesca, who's new but not new. She's around.
Mm.
We barely saw her.
Hmm.
You're not introducing a new character. You've already established this world, so it doesn't pay for them to do
Like
a
drag it
lot of,
out.
yeah, a lot of exposition. They
Yeah.
just needed to just go in and start. And I think I definitely felt that watching it, and I liked that as well. I liked the pacing of the first episode for that.
Yeah.
Um, but again, back to Penelope. She was, I just like, she was basically reminding me, cue the Octavia Spencer meme, where she's like looking out the corner, like she's just looking in the corner, out
Yeah.
the corner right. That was Penelope this whole episode, hiding behind things.
Oh my god,
Honestly,
thank you for bringing
looking.
that up. Like, I
Yes.
think it's perfect that the episode is titled Out of the Shadows. Because then
Yes,
towards the
okay.
end of the episode,
Yeah.
we then
Yeah, she
see,
she
yeah,
comes out. Yeah,
she,
yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
call it a makeover. I don't want to call it a glow up. I'm going to call it coming into herself.
I
And so,
like that.
like,
I like
she
that. Because often it's
ditches,
it's,
yeah,
yeah,
I don't like the connotations around those words, but like
makeover, yeah.
she
Glow up.
she finds out what she likes to wear, because like season 1, 2, and like the beginning of this episode 1, they make her look like
Hmm.
a child. Those dresses are
They
not
do.
flattering.
They make
She
her look like a
looks,
child. Yeah, it's
yeah,
true.
she doesn't look good, but then she goes to the modiste, she gets these nicer colors. These dresses are cut nicely. We can see her boobs. Like, we can see that she's a gorgeous woman. She changes her
Yeah.
hair, and
Mm.
she gets to the
Mm.
ball, and it's just so beautiful. And it's just like, yeah, like Penelope is coming into
She's
herself.
here.
Like she's
She's here.
out of the shot. Exactly.
And I do have to say, I noticed also that, you know not darker colors don't work on everyone. you
Hmm.
know and I think understanding your color, your color theory, like what colors work for you,
Work
is
for
really
you.
important.
Yeah.
And just the fact that her mother said if she wants to wear such a melancholy color, that's her, that's her own prerogative. And
Hmm.
it just looks so beautiful on those stairs. She looks
Beautiful.
so beautiful on those stairs. I just remember
Beautiful.
thinking to myself, wow,
And
like,
the
oh,
song choice?
the song choice was perfect.
Oh,
And also, I have to say, in this episode, although I do feel like later on in the other episodes, it gets a bit weird, but in this episode, they do a good thing with music, like the absence of sound as well. So,
yeah.
like, when Francesca enters to meet the queen, they completely
Hmm.
cut the sound out. They put the
Yeah.
sound back in when she's walking, when she
Walking towards
walks
her, yeah.
a step ahead of Lady Bridgerton. And I like that. I like that they're trying to heighten these moments through sound, which is a very particular choice, and I like that too.
I think they did a great
Let's
job
talk
with that.
about Right, right. And also, I mean, they always do a fantastic job because you have the vitamin string quartet or whatever they call them, the ones that do all
Hmm.
the renditions of
The covers, yeah.
yeah, the new contemporary songs in that
Hmm.
way. Let's talk about the ball because the ball is a huge part of this. You know, there are other people that come in within, and after that we'll talk about Francesca, but since we're on the ball now, we're talking about her moment of being on the stairs and
Yeah.
everyone looking at
Everyone's
her.
looking.
You have to bear in mind at this point she's a spinster. She's
Hmm.
like age 28, she's her 30s now. It's like this isn't, this
She's not in
isn't
her 30s. She's like
she's yeah.
19.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of I'm gonna message her again, but this reminds me of my best friend's wedding when she
Hmm.
says, if I'm 27, not married, we'll get married because it's so preposterous to be 27 and
So,
not
and not
married.
married, yeah.
Wow. And she calls him and it turns out he's marrying a literal 20-year-old. Okay. Kimmy is 20. Okay. I want you guys to realize Kimmy is 20 in my best friend's wedding. She left her career of architecture, by the way. My girl pissed me off to run around with this sports journalist. First of all, journalism was dying then, and as it is still now, which is very sad, but also still to run around with him, left her career.
Oh
Her career.
man.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Don't even get me started. But anyway, it reminds me of my best friend's wedding because it's just the idea of, expectation and marriage and etc. But anyway, so she's been sent and she's there. Everyone looks at her. And then she gets down there and she starts to speak to them. And she's so awkward.
She
She
is.
is so awkward. She says, my mom told me not to read too many books, but I read too many books. And at that point, I had to pause it because I got secondhand embarrassment. I never get secondhand embarrassment with everything, but
Mhm.
I was like, wow, this is bad, girl.
She did need the coach, but I think it's what makes her just so lovable. Like she's just so awkward
She is really awkward.
around
And then I think
people.
it's also the contrast. You're right in terms of actually when I look at it this way, the juxtaposition of her being super awkward and Colin, on this kind of like debonair,
Mhm.
bachelor vibe of like
Yeah.
being so suave and like really the juxtaposition of both those things really work in that sense. Although I do think his was played up a bit too much, but I do think if you look at it as in context, it does kind of work in that way. Um, but yeah, I want to also draw a comparison to another Julia Roberts film. I'm obsessed with that, but it's okay. This one actually is a really good comparison, and the reason I draw it is because there's this fine distinction between a woman that's quirky and a woman that's weird. There's a huge distinction.
Pen isn't quirky.
Gwen is not quirky.
She's just an
Gwen,
awkward
Gwen is
awkward
awkward
girl.
and weird, and that's okay. It's okay to be weird,
It's fine.
but there's a huge and you have is it? I think it's you have. I'm pretty sure it's Maggie. No, it's probably not Maggie Gyllenhaal, but you have a. I completely forgot her name now, but she's the best friend to Julia Roberts in Runaway Bride, and she talks about this distinction about how Julia Roberts is this quirky. She's quirky because she's fun. She's out there. She's this, and she is weird. And I think the reason I make this distinction is because you can't have one thing without the other. Often, I think people try and think that you can just have one thing in the sense that you can be weird and you can also be hot. And you
Mhm.
can be hot and also not weird. You know what I mean? So they're very separate things. And I think it's okay to be just weird and not quirky is my thing. And it's basically the similar point to what you said about her having the glow up or having the coming into herself. It's a thing of
Mhm.
you're put into these kind of little boxes of who you are and etc. And
Mhm.
I think we also need to realize that men paint certain things because they're looking at other things. So the girl that they paint as like quirky, usually she's just hot and like
Yeah.
slightly different to other girls.
Yeah.
So it's that thing of like deconstructing this, like the male, I guess what the male gaze tells you to feel about what it's okay to be weird,
Yeah.
like that's fine. So yeah, I just thought about that while she was standing there. But let's go to her confrontation of Colin
Yeah.
outside. in the shadows. Actually, she's back in the
Mhm.
shadows,
Mhm.
but she's lit quite nicely in a really nice warm light, which makes her look
Yeah.
fantastic. Her
Gorgeous.
skin,
She looked
her hair, oof,
gorgeous.
the lighting hit so lovely. What did you think of that?
Um, I think it was gonna happen. I'm happy it happened in the first episode. I'm not even gonna lie. Um,
Mm. No, she hit him
um,
with the
she
questions.
did,
She's
but
like, you're embarrassed of me.
yeah, and I don't like defending
Mm,
men, but the
mm,
statement Colin made last season where he's
mm,
like, "I would never date Penelope." Like, what are you talking about? I don't think he
mm,
meant it from a place of like, "Ew, why the fuck would I
mm,
date Penelope?" I think
mm.
he meant it more of like a, I've
She's my
known
friend.
Penelope, yeah, since she was young. Like,
Mm.
we're childhood friends. Why would I date my
Why would you want
friend?
to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting. I think it was. I think it was. It was. It was two things.
mhm.
I think it was that, but I also think he knows the perception of external perception of Penelope, and he knows that she is unwanted. And
Yeah.
I think then he was way more insecure than he is now,
Mhm.
and wanting to fit in so badly
Yeah.
that he knows ultimately the key to fitting in is just saying, like, othering her even more and just going,
I mean,
oh my
men
god,
still
you
do
know that
that.
kind of.
Yeah, and men still do that till this day.
They
It's
still do
stupid.
that to this day. Like, and also, I'm so sorry, but like, all men are sleeping with, dating, being with so many different women that they're not claiming outside.
Mhm.
Trust and belief.
Mhm.
Trust and belief. The man's type that he might be saying to his friends, I'm so sorry, might not
Might not
be
be
what
his
he's
real
actually
type.
doing. Not
Exactly.
his real type. Um, yeah, I think it was that. But I thought it was a bit unfair as well of her to kind of confront him in that way, because although he did make that comment, he did still write to her. He still writes to her. He obviously cares
Mhm.
about her. He cares about, her thoughts. He cares. He wants to know how she feels.
Yeah, I hear that, but,
And,
like, let's also remember that, like, she's had a crush on him for forever, and she got her
yeah,
feelings hurt. So she's
that's
hurt.
true.
She's very hurt.
That's true.
So she's not trying to hear, "Oh, I miss you. I wrote to you. You never responded to
That's
me." It's
true.
like, "Yeah, you miss me, but, like, you won't date me. Like, go to hell."
Yeah, that's true. That's actually very true. Although, to be honest, I did also think, what an asshole saying, like,
And he was so
I'm writing
smug
to
with it
you
too. Did you see his
about
face? He was,
it.
like,
Yeah,
smirking.
that's what pissed me off.
I was like,
That's what
"Get
pissed me
out."
off. Like, that's not justifiable. Like, okay, you wrote to me, like, as if I'm supposed to be grateful that you wrote to me. I'm so sorry. Like, what? No, that was weird. Another thing I also thought was annoying thing that he also said was when they were in the garden when he says, "I seek you out because I know that you will lift my spirits."
Mhm.
And that always pisses me off. My friends and I always
Mhm.
talk about this thing of like being that girl that, I don't know, like makes people, makes them happier. We should like be a wicked woman today. Do not make these men happy at all. Make them stressed. That's what you want. You want a man to be stressed, not happy. Okay, because if he's stressed, it means you must be doing something if he's stressed. Um, and no,
Yeah,
and that annoyed me because I was like, you obviously just don't see that she's in love with you,
he
and
doesn't.
you're saying all these things, and you don't
Yeah.
realize the impact of them.
I do
And
wanna
also,
say though,
yeah,
sorry, that
go ahead.
garden scene, like, after they make their agreement, there's
Mm,
another, like, telling of the title of the episode, Out of the Shadows. So once they make that
mm,
deal and then Colin leaves, you see her, like, step out from under the tree, and then the sun starts shining.
mm,
It's just out of the
mm.
shadows again.
That
And
was
then
nice. Yeah,
yeah,
out
that
of the
was
shadows
nice.
again. That's really nice symbolism as well. To be honest, fair, fair. She's coming to home. Fine,
Yeah.
fine, fine, pen. But yeah, no, and I just thought another funny thing was him giving her the compliment of, "Oh, you actually look rather nice today," or and she
Mhm.
thought he was making fun of her, and
Yeah.
he wasn't. And I just think it's so funny. Men just throw things out. They don't realize that they might be either ruining or changing your life. Like, it's
Yeah.
really quite funny. Um, but I liked the episode, and I also liked. What do you think about the ending of the first episode? Like, if you were watching it week by week, how would
Mhm.
you have felt about the season after the first episode?
I would have been like, "Ooh, I'm excited to get into it." what's gonna happen
Mm,
because I'm trying to remember. Was that the okay? No, no, that was episode 2. Yeah, so I like the way it ended because it ended with like, is that the new Lady Whistledown? And like you can see she's
mm,
worked because I mean she left the ball
mm,
very upset, and she obviously wrote some things when she got back, and now they've
mhm.
made up, and now she's realizing what she wrote and what went out, and then that leads us into episode 2.
And it's also setting up for part two when, at some point, obviously, we haven't watched part two, by the way, so
Yeah,
I'm
we
not
haven't. We
producing
don't know.
anything. We don't know, but at some point, you expect that he'll find out that she is Lady Whistledown, or or
Oh,
something, and
definitely.
it's setting that up, with the
Yeah,
Eloise thing, and
definitely.
him
Yeah.
saying, when I find out who she is, I promise you,
Specifically, yeah.
you
Specifically,
know,
like, ugh, I don't want to jump the gun, but yeah, yeah,
yeah,
like into episode
exactly.
2, like, I'm now
Yeah, we can get into
realizing.
episode two. We might as well get to episode two right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the beginning,
Hmm.
like you said about like him, like I'm starting to like it's dawning on me that like, oh my god, yeah, like Colin actually has like personal beef with Lady Whistledown. Like every
Hmm.
season something
He
has
does.
happened. So like season 1, the
Yeah,
thing
he
with
does have
Lady
personal beef with her.
Crane, yeah, like everything that happened with like Lady Crane, Miss Thompson, whatever. And then season 2, like what happened last season with Eloise, like the things she wrote about
Yeah.
Eloise. So like
The Eloise stuff was terrible. It
oh, it
really
was
was
rough.
terrible.
It was rough. It was rough. But
It really
Eloise
was
was
terrible.
doing the most too, if we're being
She
honest.
was. She was. And I can't wait to get back to her story, to be
Yeah, me
honest.
too. I'm
But we
excited.
forgot to talk about one person, which is Francesca.
Ooh, yes.
And actually, very funny we forgot to talk about her because she's
The
literally,
main part of the
that's
season,
so
actually.
ironic. She
Yeah.
is the main part, but it's also so ironic because she's someone that I think wants to be forgotten
She
about and left to her
does.
own
She
devices. So it's
does,
actually
yeah.
quite ironic that we
That we
forgot to
did.
speak about her because she would have loved that we did that. But I have to just say, she's beautiful. That actress is
Gorgeous.
beautiful. Oh my god, she is so
Gorgeous.
beautiful. She when she came on the screen, I remember just thinking to myself, "Oh my
I
goodness,
was like,
wow,
wow. Literally.
wow!"
Gorgeous.
Like, I mean, wow. And her dress was just, oh, I'm
Mm-hmm.
now thinking I might have to add some Regency era into my wedding repertoire. Yeah. I
I
don't know
think
how I'm
it'll be
going to pull that off
beautiful.
without it being like Bridgerton cosplay, though. I have to figure this out. Because everyone's going to be like, oh, are you trying to, like, are you just obsessed with Bridgerton?
Oh,
And you know how much that will piss someone like me off.
yeah.
Like, I have to do like an announcement being like, by the way, this isn't. Although one of my favorite movies is Phantom Thread, and amazing gowns and that. And I screenshotted so many of them because I'm like, I'm gonna
Hmm.
recreate this one. Okay, so that's not Regency era, but maybe I can mix them up so no one will know.
Yeah,
Um,
just
but
do a little
but
mix.
anyway, yeah. So Francesca, she loves her music. She as anyone, which maybe you and I probably understand, she wants peace and quiet, and she
Hmm.
also wants. Imagine growing up with eight, you
Siblings. Oh,
know, siblings. Like it's a lot.
it's a lot.
It's a lot. So yeah, so that's Francesca, and we'll talk about her more. But episode two, yes, episode two, we have the entrance of the Mondridge family, and
Yeah.
they've now come into wealth,
Hmm.
come into a lot of wealth,
Happy
which
for
I think
them.
was very interesting because we had this really nice exploration of what happens when you kind of change echelons, in
Hmm.
society, and especially as them being black, and
Yeah.
him being actually working man, and
Working class. Yeah.
he has this conflict of wanting to keep his bar, and but he can't work if he's of higher class, and
Yep.
yeah. What were your thoughts on that one?
I liked it. I thought, like you said, I thought it was an interesting dynamic to watch, going from being
Mm,
working class to being part of society, and then
mm.
just telling him because like he's worked all his life, that's all he's known, and then all of a sudden they're telling him that he can't keep his bar, he can't do what he's done his entire life, and
It's
like I
all he
understand.
knows. It's
Yeah,
all he
that's
knows,
all he does. I
literally. Yeah, I
understand.
agree.
I definitely understand why it's hard for him to like reconcile that and like change who he is essentially as a person
Yeah,
because his son
essentially, yeah.
is a a
Mhm.
baron now, like
And it's the fact that a son can come into wealth, and the son is 6 years of
6 years
age,
old. Yeah,
and he can come into wealth is insane. And you just have to
crazy.
manage that until he's old enough to deal with that, because it's
Speaking
incredibly
of
patriarchal.
Yeah,
Hmm.
speaking of wealth, like something so fishy, like going on with the Featherington finances, and
Always
I'm
something fishy in the Featherington house.
it's something.
F for fishy.
But I guess we'll get into more of that like
I mean, we
second
started it
part of the
off
season.
last season where they
Yeah.
were doing even shadier stuff, and you thought they cleaned
Mm.
up, but now they're still doing it. But I think that's another funny side plot of the two sisters and the pregnancy
It's so
and
funny.
feeling their boobs and coming is
Yeah,
so.
and the sister asking and stay where? I'm like, she's been married for months at this
She
point.
didn't know. She didn't know. And
Months.
also, their husbands seem to really like them, so I don't know how they are doing the
Yeah.
deed. There's
Oh,
something weird about that,
she
but then also
said
idiotic though.
no, the
So
first sister, Prudence is definitely she doesn't like it. She said she's done it once, but I think her
yeah.
husband definitely likes her more. I don't think she likes him. I don't think she tolerates him,
Oh yes, I
for
think
being
so. I think
honest.
she tolerates him.
The second
Yeah.
sister, I'm forgetting her name. Cressida? Is it Cressida?
Hmm. No,
Cressida.
Cressida is the other person. Her name is something
Oh, Cressida's
weird, but
helper. I don't like Cressida.
it's something else. But it's with a C. It is
Yeah.
weird.
The
It is
second
weird.
sister, she like they do like each other, but she says something about like they make out and then he makes a strange noise and changes his undergarments. So I think we all know what's happening there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we know what's happening there. We
yeah.
know what's happening.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. I think Lady Featherington is very cruel, especially to
Mm,
Penelope.
she is, but do you not
She's
think
really
she's starting
cruel.
to soften a bit,
I don't think so.
realizing what she's doing? Because I feel like Penelope is confronting her more. Penelope is speaking up more. And I
Yeah,
do feel like Lady Featherington is starting to realize the impact of what she's doing to her child. I
child.
feel like maybe we'll
Hmm.
see.
Very
We'll see.
slowly, but we'll see.
Mm.
Um,
I also thought that, when we get to the point where everyone kind of finds out about the coaching, because I'm
mhm.
pretty sure this is in this episode,
It is in this episode, yeah.
and I do feel bad for her, I have
I
to
feel
admit. I mean,
so bad.
I still stand by the thing about her being really annoying, but I felt terrible for her when everyone found out.
Feeling terrible
It
for
was
her
a
though,
lot.
I love
It was
how
a
it was
lot.
shot. How they
Mm.
shot it. Like it was like her world was spinning and you could see that
Mm-hmm.
in like the
Mm-hmm.
camera and like the angles. I thought it was beautifully
Mm-hmm.
shot. And
Mm-hmm.
just the whispers, like you said, the music again, like how
Yeah.
they're like the music playing and it's just like a very tense environment when she
Mm.
realizes when Colin is like,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, what are you
Mm.
gossiping about? And like she's you can feel that her heart is probably just dropped and
Yeah.
it was shot beautifully.
And
I
the
was
fact that she has to then write about herself
about it. Oh,
in
heartbreaking.
her column. I mean, I love that.
Heartbreaking.
I was like, you actually, and then she has to be harsh enough so they wouldn't suspect her,
Oh
basically.
man, she was so mean. I think she was even
Yeah,
meaner
I
to
mean, that
herself.
was that was, self-flagellation. She
Yeah.
was very much, kind of
Boom.
doing that again. And
Um.
yeah, and I liked the Mondridge going, she'll find a husband in no time.
Yeah.
And it was really sweet.
Yeah.
I really like the fact that they're entering with such kind hearts and everything.
Mhm.
And him going, that of course is the hope. He's obviously stressed about it already.
Okay, before we move to episode 3, I wanted to say something.
Hmm.
Episode 2,
Mm,
I think it's the scene where what happened in
mm.
the scene? I think when she's using like her newly found skills, and I'm like,
Yes.
in my
Mm,
mind, I'm like, oh my god, do you know what would be perfect if they start playing
mm.
"Jealous" by Nick Jonas? And guess what? They started playing
It
"Jealous"
did.
by Nick Jonas, and my mind, I was like, oh my god, I am so powerful. It
Yeah.
made me
No,
so happy.
you are. You are more powerful than a Ben and Gesserit.
I am,
You
honestly.
are.
My mind
You are. Listen,
is it's just
you're more
crazy.
powerful than a Ben and Gesserit. You are. You are like Lady Jessica times 500. That's what you are.
It's crazy
Honestly,
to me because like my dream job, if I was to ever work in entertainment, would be to do
music
like
coordinator.
score. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would love that. Like
We gotta
dream.
ring up ST Heim and be like, hey, we
We
got someone
have
to
to
help
work.
you.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Have to work together. No, yeah, you'd be really good at that though. You'd be so good at that job.
I really
That's
think
that's
so.
that's so funny. Yeah, I think you'd be great. You'd be great
Thank
at that
you.
job because you know the stuff and you also have a range of musical taste and
Yes,
it'll be good. It'll be
I
good. This is
agree.
an advertisement, by the way. Job posting, please. If you guys know someone that needs, let's put her to work, please.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What?
we forgot to actually now we're kind of halfway.
Yeah.
Let's go back to our little fun categories.
Mhm.
Let's go dripping wet scale.
Okay.
Right now, you
Mhm.
know, where would you say we are? We'll take episode by episode. Episode one, dripping wet scale. Where are we?
It wasn't too. There wasn't anything that smutty about episode one. Episode two,
No,
though,
but there was Anthony and Kate though.
was it the in the bed? Was that episode one or two?
Episode one.
Okay, then yes. Mm. I'll give it a
because
6, 7. I was like,
because when
yeah,
he went down, I
yeah.
was like, whoa.
I was like,
I
I
was like,
felt
you're
like
actually really
I was
showing this
intruding. I was
right
intruding.
now.
I feel like their chemistry together, I think it's so good. The
It's so good.
hand holding while he
Mm,
was under, like they're doing the work and it's
they're doing the
working.
work. No, they definitely like know they have their rhythms sorted out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so you would say like a six? Is that what you said?
Yeah, a 6 for that
Okay,
one.
I would also say for their scene alone, like a
Mhm.
7.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was struggling to not look away when he went down. I was like, wow, I feel like I'm watching this. It's
I was
crazy.
intruding.
I'm intruding on this, and also married. Like I'm intruding on a married person's sex life. What am I doing that? Um, Horner's scale of the brothers.
Anthony is a whore. We already know that. He can't keep himself away from Kate especially.
Okay,
Um
but like, okay. But then you have Colin though, who
I
is
was
like
gonna get
out
there.
here prostituting himself verbally to every single girl on the
Colin,
street.
I'm not joking, you guys. Like the first thing in my notes for this season is Colin is a slut. All caps. He's a
He is
whore.
such a
The
whore.
things
Like,
he
what
was
is he
saying
doing?
in that episode, like episode one, when they were at the
And also the diversity of women that they were making. Like every race Colin went for in this first episode. He mix and match. That's what they said.
what a guy.
Mix and match. Pick and mix or whatever they call it. Anyway, episode 2 we don't even need to do that, I think.
The
Episode
kiss was
3,
cute. I
the
liked
kiss
the
was cute.
kiss. It was very cute.
I mean, what did you think about okay, so I have a question though. This is going back to episode 1 though. Did you feel their chemistry in their first conversation when they hadn't seen each other for a while? The first
Um,
one, the reuniting conversation, did you
at
feel their chemistry
the
straight
where
off the
she
bat?
told him off.
Yes, and also when they agreed to the coaching.
Mm, yeah, but it wasn't. It was like more of like a from his end. It's still like a she's my friend thing. So like I can
Mm,
see the potential in episode one.
mm. Or is that
Um,
because you know that it's coming?
yeah, I think it's because I know it's coming. I
Mm.
think it's because I know it's
Yeah, I
coming.
was I was trying to pick it up on like on a rewatch just to kind of understand
Hmm.
what whether I could feel it or not. Certainly, their friendship was solidified in that one where I was like, okay, I know that they're
Yeah,
friends, and that's what you need. I guess friendship is the first foundation, as they say.
yeah.
Anyway, okay, episode 3. I didn't have much to say about episode 3. What about you?
Mm. Um, I liked episode 3. I feel like we saw the real Colin again. We saw him
Mm, that's true. That's true.
um, under the tree where they're promenading or whatever they call it. And it
Mm.
was just like, oh, here my two bumbling idiots are. They're so cute.
Oh
Like
no, it
that
was awful.
conversation. Yeah,
So
that's who they
yeah,
are.
it was good. It was good. It didn't come to me. Is it? Yes, it is. It is. It
Yeah.
isn't. Isn't it?
He's like, oh, what's your reasoning? Why should we stop the arrangement? And she's like, oh, it's already done in Stork. It's fine. And I was just like, yeah, like this is Colin. This is the Colin we know. Like, look at both of them. Like, this is just them being themselves. And I really liked it. But I liked episode 3 because we start to see Colin getting jealous. And so it's very
just
obvious
because I'm
he's like,
jealous. You keep me up when I'm
he's like,
jealous.
he's
Yeah,
doing things and he's just like people are saying things like, oh, like hopefully she'll find a match now, and he's like,
he's
yes,
stressed. But
yes.
actually, another thing that I always get with these, especially just like these I would say these Regency kind of different, also just romance in general.
Hmm.
There's no way other people don't know about everyone's affections if they're looking so deeply and gazingly into
Oh
everyone's
my
eyes.
god.
Whenever Penelope gets a chance, she's looking at Colin.
And whenever
Whenever
he's
Colin
looking
gets
for
a chance,
her,
he's
he's
staring like
looking for her. And
intensely,
his eyes,
passionately about
his
into her eyes,
eyes,
like
yeah, they do this thing.
dilating,
Oh my god.
dilating,
And it looks like he's
literally.
almost at the verge of tears, and he's just looking at her. And oh, I love Bridgerton, guys. Like, mm,
No,
what a
it's
show.
good, but I always think to myself, I mean, everyone must know like who you love.
It's
There's no
obvious.
way.
They have to
It's
know.
so obvious. Like, can you imagine out if we were out on the street and we're doing this sort of jazz? I mean, and we're trying to tell our friends, "Oh, I don't like him. Like, I
Oh,
don't like him." We're just friends. They're like, "Okay, girl. Okay, girl." I liked the stuff with the Queen. Although I don't know about you, but now after watching Queen Charlotte, I really struggle to watch the Queen because I know so much about her past and her as a younger person. I'm
yeah.
kind of like
I don't struggle.
I feel like I see the younger Queen Charlotte in the Queen now a lot.
You know what? I don't even think that's why I struggle. I think personally, as a character, as an individual, I don't like Charlotte. I
Mm,
think she's rude.
why? Yeah, she is rude.
I think she's callous, and I just don't think she's a nice
Okay.
person.
Mm.
I loved her
But
story
it's
with
so
George.
interesting to see where she gets to because she was so lovely as a younger person.
You think so?
Yeah, she seemed like a very nice person.
I don't think so.
Charlotte when she was younger seemed quite lovely. Like
I don't
I'd be
think so.
friends with her.
Mm,
Really?
no, I think she's always been rude. She's always been,
Oh no, she's always been rude. I mean, Queen Charlotte starts with her like breaking a bunch of shit because she doesn't want to leave. So,
yeah, and
yeah,
like,
no, she's always been rude. But
yeah,
I felt like you know I felt like I could hang. Like we could be pals. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I loved when she said, "Take a few steps back. You read me too well." That was
yeah.
very
That
nice.
was good.
That was a
That was good.
lovely line,
That was really
and
good.
yeah, and obviously her dressing is always on
I love
point as
it.
always.
Love
Um, but yeah, that's really episode 3. I think episode 4 is when we start to get into the nitty gritty of everything. Episode 3 is introducing,
it. Colin having realizing.
yes, realizing, but also introducing the other love interest, which is the nature dude, which I
Lord
forgot his name.
Devlin.
No, Devlin, yeah,
Lord
that's his name.
Devlin.
He has a perfect name for someone that is into nature, I
You
guess.
know what? I also
Um,
think it's very funny that he's like a social pariah because he's a vegan. Isn't that crazy?
Not even just that, just because he has interests.
Yeah, like they hate
And
him
his
because
interests are like niche interests.
it's
I really really liked him. I really liked
I
him. Although
did.
I don't think, yes, I did.
You
And
did.
come on. Come on, I did. Of course I did. Like he's a dude that has the nichest interests and all he wants to do is talk about his interests and he is like this is like literally my type 101. Like, I mean, come on.
In an ideal
It was
world, like if Colin didn't exist, I would really like him with Penelope.
no, no, I wouldn't because I think
Really?
Penelope needs someone that is going to fulfill her romantically because she's such a daydreamer. She's such a romantic.
You're right.
And I feel like romantics like her, they need someone that's feeding that aspect of them. Otherwise,
Mhm.
they'll be very unhappy. Like
Agreed.
that pragmatism that some people have that are not unromantic, they don't have that, so they need to be fed that
Mm,
in some way. It tends to be people that are at least show romance in some ways or are able to overly exert that because they have to get it from somewhere, in
yeah.
their lives. And I feel like, at first we think, oh, he's the perfect match, and then he announces that he will not have time for her and he's happy she has
Yeah.
her own interests, and
Mhm.
you can tell her face drops in that moment because it's sad. It's always sad to hear that you're not being prioritized by someone, even if it's not anyone's fault.
Mhm.
It's always a sad thing to hear. In another life, I would be facing a problem like this. No, 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 no. But anyway, episode 4. I My first thought, episode 3, episode 2 was Violet stopped meddling as much as she usually does.
She isn't.
She's being rather relaxed, rather
Mhm.
calm. Then episode 4 comes and I go, oh,
She's
here she
back.
goes again.
She's
She is back. I do hope you feel better,
back.
ma'am.
I like Violet. I like how she knows like each of her
The children,
children
yeah, she
innately.
does.
I think she's a good mom.
Yeah, she is a good mom.
She is a good
Maybe a
mom.
bit too much,
Yeah, too
maybe too
yeah,
intense. I can imagine on other days you might just be like, please, can you relax?
yeah.
Um,
Relax a
Mothers are
little.
mothers for reasons. Um, and I liked Violet's side plot as well with Lady Danbury's brother.
Brother. Yeah. I
I
want to
like
see
that a
what
lot. Although he's
happens.
very rakish. He's very rakish, so I'm a bit worried about him.
I feel like she needs that kind of excitement in her life.
Yes, I think so too. What sort of guy do you think her um her widow
Her
was?
husband was.
Her husband, yeah.
I feel like he was.
I said her widow was. Anyway, so her dead husband, yeah.
um,
What type of guy do you think he was? Do you think he was like, from what we saw in last season, he seemed fun and how do I say fun, but he seemed like a really good father and really caring,
yeah,
quite
and
earnest.
present. Yeah.
But do you think he was like a fun dude? Or like, was he just like a nice dude?
I think he was
Was he
probably
like a
just a
fun, flirty dude?
nice. He's probably just like a nice, funny guy.
Then
Yeah.
so this is like a refreshing, like this is a shaking
Yeah.
up that she needs.
It's like a bad
No,
boy.
I really hope that we get to see something juicy with them.
I
That would be
think we
nice.
are. I think we are going to
Mm,
see something.
okay, I'm
What else
excited for that.
happens?
I'm excited for that.
Cressida, the Cowpers.
Yes,
I
Cresta.
think like this entire season, I don't know if they're trying to do like a redemption arc for Cressida.
They are for sure.
I don't know if I'm
It's
buying
working
it.
on me. It's working on me.
I understand
It's
why
working on
she is
me.
the way she is. Like you see her dad and like her house, like the lack of color and it's so dark and it's just
Mausoleum.
yeah, like showing this like lack of love and attention in the home. And I guess that's what she's seeking outside, even by being mean to people, which isn't great. But I mean, I kind of feel bad for her, I guess.
Hmm.
What else is in episode 4? I really think Francesca and Earl Kilmartin are very cute.
No, that was. I'm so sorry. That was so sweet.
I think they're so
I
cute.
honestly feel like if I could blush, I I would I would blush a lot watching Francesca and Earl
Kilmartin.
because it just when he wrote her, the piece,
Yes.
I just thought to myself, this is just
It's so
beautiful. And he
cute.
just not having many words to say to her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you see the what's his name? The Marquise? The
Yeah, the
Marquise of
Marquise.
Yeah, so the Marquis of I forgot where is Marquis of. But anyway, when he comes and he says, "Oh, I we have something in common. We both
Have
have
7
eight
brothers and
siblings."
sisters.
And
Yeah.
her face, she was frightened. Do you
Hmm.
know what that means? That means 16. You're gonna
Yeah.
have 16.
She doesn't want that. She's
And they
trying to
and their
escape.
husbands as well and their kids. That's hellish. I'm sorry. That's not nice. That's not nice at all. No one wants that. That's a bit much. So yeah, so I'm just like having someone that's like just for her and will let her sit in silence. And but Eloise had a really funny line where she goes, "I didn't even know the silence could. I thought words were
Yeah.
silence also work. She developed something brand new." I like that was a really funny line. But you know they're so adorable and so cute, and I really hope that she's able to get what she wants with him. Anyway,
Now, the best part about episode 4, the
what's the
carriage
best part for
scene.
you?
Uh,
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
what
Okay,
was my best part of episode 4? I think the declaration of
I
love.
was.
One thing the Bridgerton men will do, or like the men will do, is declare love. And, uh,
Did this one work for you? Because it only worked for me upon second watch.
it did
And
work for
I
me. The
think,
I cannot. I cannot. It was good.
mm,
And then he was like, "Yeah,
mm,
I really liked their like the entire carriage scene. Like, obviously, she ran off very upset because he just ruined her chances with Lord Devlin. But like, I felt Colin couldn't keep it in anymore. He from episode
I
3, he's been
couldn't.
going through hell,
I was
and
gonna
he's
say, I was gonna say, I love a brooding man.
oh,
I love a brooding man.
he
My
was
favorite genre of
sick.
man is a brooding man, and that's why I will say make them stressed. Because when they're stressed, that's I'm so sorry, so attractive. I love a brooding man. I love a brooding man so much. Jane Eyre, I love brooding
Mhm.
man. But yeah, no, you're right. He was stressed. He was going through it.
He was so
Wasn't
stressed, he
eating.
decided
Wasn't
to
sleeping.
go. Yeah, he decided to go to the ball that he said he wasn't going to. And he yeah, I just thought it was really
Mm,
good. And I also like the fact that
mm.
she was the one that said, "I would like us to be much more than friends."
Yeah, she was. But he did say because it is true.
Mhm.
And I really liked that line. And I liked
Mhm.
how he read. The line reading on that was really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, right. She was what trope do you say that is? She fell, but he fell harder or
Yeah, she
something.
falls first, he falls
She
harder.
falls first, he falls harder. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was definitely that
Yeah.
trope. Um, yeah. So the carriage ride. You know what? I
What's
That was rough.
yeah,
It was
what's
rough to
yours
watch.
on the scale? You think so? Rough? Like
Yeah, because it was slow. And I have to admit something, I get really awkward with these things, like watching them. I'm really like I find it so voyeuristic and so in a way Britain is an education for me. Um I'm really into oh god, well in a show, just to put it out there. I'm really into like the before it actually happens, like the tension. I'm a tension
Mhm.
girl. But the actual action I find quite, especially when it's slow. This one was kind of slow, where like you could see his hand getting closer and
Yeah.
closer and close, and then he was there,
Yeah.
and that always gets me when it's like itching you, like you're getting there. On the wetness scale, this is 110% a nine for me. This is a nine for me.
10 over
I
10.
mean, this is a
Well
nine.
done.
This is
Well
really
done. That was
like he
good.
grabs her boob. Like I'm sorry.
Kissing her neck, his weight
Yeah,
down.
yeah, it's a 9.
Lift
It's
he
110%.
compromised the hell out of Penelope in that carriage.
That
Um
was insane. Also, I'm so sorry. That driver, he's hearing some fuck shit in the back.
Can you
Imagine
imagine just
driving
being
that
on the horse and you're just
carriage.
hearing, "Oh, man."
This reminds me of like when I was in uni and basically you just like people are so horny in dorms
Mhm.
and essentially you just like walk by someone's door and you just left them at dinner and you just hear sounds from
Yep.
the room and just like I just, yeah, just like, just going about your life and just hearing these sounds and just being like, oh wow, that's happening in the back, I guess. Um, no, and the speech I liked.
I liked it.
Nothing will top the Cantonese speech. I'm so
The
sorry,
I'm
but
no, no, that's not Cantonese. It's and that is not far enough.
Cantonese
Oh,
was, yeah, and that's not far enough. And that's not far enough. You know what? I'm gonna
that
run
was a
that back because I
declaration.
need a reminder because that was insane,
You know what?
insane. I remember,
George's declaration was good too.
yeah, George's decoration was
I
good,
love
but I
you
think George, yes, yes.
from the from the moment you.
The way you just said that, I'm so sorry. That's actually a double-edged sword as well because of his. I love you. I love you.
Oh, it's so good.
No, it was so good. It was so good, and also I just think all the men are done so well in
Yeah.
this show. I think Collins was perfect in terms of it represents their relationship as well. The way
Yes.
he said it to
Yes.
her, you know,
Yes.
he had to prove that he was crossing that line, and you know, and he also
Mhm.
he probably still isn't sure whether he's supposed to cross that line because they both look quite confused as to, you know, how comfortable
Yes.
they are with being, you know, being, you know, pushed to this other side, and it's difficult because you're
Mhm.
worried about losing your friendship. You know, so many things in play.
There's a lot at stake.
Um, there's a lot at stake. But yeah, I think some lines like the because it's true worked for me, and other lines I feel like
Mhm.
didn't. But I guess I like the Colin that's like awkward, and you know it's hard
That
to
is
kind
my
of,
favorite Colin, yeah.
yeah, same. It's hard to kind of pull off, you know, that and that speech with being awkward as well.
Mhm.
It's a really hard balance to strike in a way of, you know, awkward, but then it's also you also like swoon. You know, that's a
Mhm.
really interesting kind of, yeah, I don't know. Some men pull it off. And it's just a really, really hard one to pull off. You have to be like really bumbling and nervous. And he wasn't nervous, but he was, I guess, worried about her response.
Yeah.
And then we have where it ends.
Yeah.
Are you going to marry me or not?
Not
Are you going
beautiful.
to marry me or not?
Now, I
That was
think that brings, yeah, that brings me into
mm,
like my predictions for like the second half. I
okay.
think it's
Let's
going
go.
to
Let's go.
be, yeah, it's going to be obviously him finding out that she's whistled down and like I guess dealing
Yes.
with the repercussions of that and like seeing what
Mm,
happens,
mm.
how he reacts to it. I think it's
Do you
gonna
think
work
he
for him.
marries her? Do you think he marries her before he finds out, or he's about to marry her and then he finds out?
I think I really want it to be he's about to marry her and then he finds out like before and then
Mm,
it's like a thing
mm,
of like, oh my gosh, I don't know if he's gonna still
mm.
want to marry me. But like he's already compromised me. What's gonna happen? All of that. I'm
Yeah,
excited
I
for the
know, but
mirror scene.
I want him to be properly pissed off. I don't want none of that season two bullshit where there's like a, you know, a climax that's not really a climax at the
Mm,
end, because that's what the complete fell apart in season two was. There's a climax that wasn't really a climax, and it just really
yeah.
annoyed me. I want him to be properly annoyed. I want him to live up to what he's saying. When he finds out, he needs to be livid. He needs to be annoyed. We need to like worry that he's not going to want to see her or speak to her
I
again,
hear
and then
that.
together.
I hear that, but like we also have to factor in that like he loves this girl. Obviously he's gonna be pissed off, but he's not gonna like
Yeah, but you can
abandon
get pissed off. I
her.
mean, come on, we're veterans in this game. You can get pissed off and still love them and then come back.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
it makes the reunion even sweeter when
So
they've been
much better.
pissed. When
Mm,
they've been pissed off, it makes it so much better because you just have like it's fire.
right.
It's just a fire,
So
and
many
you have to have
emotions.
exactly you have to have that scene of like, I'm so sorry. I just, you know what? I love you.
Yeah.
You have to have that scene of, I was annoyed and I went and I chopped some wood with my own two hands with an axe. And I went and killed a couple birds and I camped in the woods with no water and no food. And I thought about how annoyed I was with you and how you could do this to me. And then at some point I thought to myself, I love you.
And I
and
can't
you're the
live
only
without
thing that
you.
matters, and I can't live without you.
Yeah.
And so on my way back, I thought to myself, whatever I have to do to make it up to you, I will. So yeah,
Shonda,
they should
call
put us in
us.
the show. We
Shonda,
put us in the
call
show,
us.
Shonda. Let us write, Shonda. Give us pen, Shonda. Pen on
We
fire.
are ready. We are ready.
We're ready.
But
Yeah, so
yeah, those
those
are my
are good
predictions.
predictions. Yeah, that's
I
really
want to
fun.
see Violet and Lord Anderson. I think it's gonna
Yes,
be
that'll be
interesting.
really
Also,
nice.
why does Lady Danbury hate her brother so much? Not hate, but like she just looks like she can't
I
tolerate him.
I think okay, so this is interesting. I forgot to mention this one. I think it's two things. I think the
Hmm.
first one is that he probably was super rakish, I think, in his past, and she's probably so tired of him like going for, just being like a rake and being annoying, and
Hmm.
also the fact that she probably had to take on so much responsibility and he
Yeah,
just fucked off and did whatever the fuck he wanted. So
she's
I
younger.
think there's that. But then I
Probably,
also
yeah.
think it reminds her of their childhood when they were competing for like the same kind of men when they were younger. With in Queen Charlotte, they
Yeah,
show that them as younger and how she
yeah,
had to fight, and how she had
yeah.
that thing versus Violet, where Violet didn't really have to fight as much, and that kind of thing of like, okay, now you're going for my brother, like another. I mean, obviously it's not the
I
same
mean,
because
she
she doesn't care about her brother
slept with her
romantically.
dad.
Yeah, okay, I know, but it's just I think it's just like a thing of like we're back here again where
And
we're
that's on
entangled in
you.
something.
That's on Lady Danbury, though. That's Lady Danbury's fault. You shouldn't have been doing that in the first place.
I
So,
support women's rights and women's
and
rights.
wrongs.
Yeah, no,
But
I
yeah,
think it just reminds her maybe of that. Also, just about probably her brother's just annoying as hell, and he is annoying as hell. He's
he
always
does seem
talking.
annoying, to be honest. Yeah, always,
Must be
always, always,
tiring to
always
live with
talking.
him.
Yeah.
Um, always trying to get like
Um,
the woman to smile at him. Is he more of a whore than Colin? Do you think?
I think maybe when he was younger, he definitely would have been more of a whore. But I don't know. We
Yeah.
haven't seen enough of him yet, and like he seems like he only has eyes on Violet that we've seen so far. So
Mm,
I can't really say.
mm. Yeah, that's
Can't
true.
really say.
I guess on the whoreness scale right now, I don't know. It's between Benedict and Colin.
Yeah.
I don't know who's
Benedict
winning.
is Benedict.
I think
My
Benedict
God.
has to win.
I want to
Because
see
he
his
comes
season.
in, he comes in like being like, oh, he wants to call on her. Like, no.
Call on her. What a whore.
But she's also insatiable, making like jokes about like body parts in the middle of the tone. Like she,
Her
she's
husband's
she's
dead.
she's
She's just, she's
she's
just
having her
having
fun.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Sophie's a really nice character though. I can't wait for that season.
I'm excited
As
for the
well
next
as
season. Yeah.
um but yeah, so predictions are that she gets found out. I can't wait for the reveal for everyone to
Me
know
too.
who she is. Because I just want some
Hmm.
drama. I want some
I
real.
don't think
But then
everyone's gonna know. I
perhaps,
think just Colin's gonna find out, and then he's gonna find out that Eloise knew as well.
mm, but then perhaps that will mean that, um, perhaps that will mean that Eloise and Penelope will get back together based on Colin
Definitely.
finding out. Do you
Definitely. I
reckon?
think that's something that's gonna happen in the second half as well. Because like friends
I mean,
fight,
yeah,
they'll
but they
make
get back
up.
together.
Yeah.
Also, in the book, I think he suspects that it's Eloise at first, and then he realizes it isn't Eloise. So maybe that will also bring them back together. Penelope trying to save Eloise and etc. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there were more technical stuff we speak about, but we spoke about it already. And but I think honestly, it's a fun watch. I would say that Bridgerton could be a week by week release,
I think
but
it would be fun.
I
Like a
think it might be
soap
fun if it
opera
were a
type
week by
thing.
week release because I do feel like it's good to break it up the way they have.
Yeah.
But I also think that it encourages binging in a way that the soap opera quality is not. You need like kind of like a nice week
Hmm.
by week release wouldn't be bad for Bridgerton, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, you should
Ooh, on
consider.
technical stuff, I don't know if it's technical,
Hmm.
but it's something I did want to mention.
Hmm.
I love how the chemistry scenes between Colin and Penelope are shot. I think
Mm.
it's very beautiful. Like when they're together alone, and the way
Mm.
it's shot, like the camera, there's like a haze on it, and the
Mm.
angles are so different. It's like
Mm-hmm.
he's like, we're looking at her from his perspective, and it's like this
Mm-hmm.
dreamy glow around her. And I love that the music, the tempo like quickens to like show like their heart rates
Yeah, their heart
quickening.
rates. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's just great work. Well done to the directors and the cinematography people. You're doing great.
No, they definitely
Great
were
work.
doing great. I think they've definitely upped their game. Sorry, this season.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I don't know. I want to. I need something. I want to be bought in. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there. I think
You'll get
episode one
there.
I wasn't there at all, and then four I'm sort of there. So if I
Mhm.
just keep pushing, perhaps I will get there, and then I'll be there. I really want to get there because I need this in my life, actually. So I really want to get there.
I have been
Um,
there from
yeah, you've been there.
the to dum.
Before it came
I've been
out,
there.
before it
Yeah.
came out, you were there. You were there before it came out.
I've been there. So I'm
You've been there.
excited.
Yeah, I know. I want a big blowout fight. I need some tension. I need a fight. I need some arguments. I need some
Yeah.
running away from each other, perhaps on a horse or something. Um,
I think we'll
that might
see
be
that.
fun.
We'll see that.
So, but does Penelope even know how to ride a horse?
No, she's a lady of society. She's in a
Yeah, but
carriage.
Kate did. So
Kate, come on. Kate is, Kate is
rude,
Kate. Kate goes hunting.
rude.
Come
Kate is
on.
rugged as fuck. So I fucking love her. So I
She
fucking
is.
love her. She's rugged as hell. Like, gosh, I love her. Like, bad bitch. Oh no, I love Kate, so I wanted to be her so bad. I still do, to be honest. Also, like the hunting as well. I used to do archery when I was younger, so it's really
Oh,
fun.
wow.
I don't know how that was a thing. I don't know how and how that, you know, weird things
Happened.
happened as a kid. But yeah, archery was fun. I wasn't bad at archery. I wasn't bad, but I also
I
wasn't
did
good
do
either.
horse riding when I was younger.
Oh, I did
Horse
that too.
riding,
Yeah, I did that too.
tennis. Yeah.
When I was younger, I wanted to be an equestrian. I
Oh,
wanted to be an
same.
equestrian. Oh, really? Exactly.
Yeah.
I wanted to be an equestrian really badly, and then I started doing the actual lessons, and I was like,
No,
this
thank
is
you.
not my vibe. These horses are smelly.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to be around these smelly horses. No, I don't know what the accent was. I didn't grow up in America, but yeah, it's a very unhinged episode. I hope you guys enjoy it.
I really
We'll be
do. I
back
think they
with
will.
part two.
The Bridgerton fans will
I
enjoy
don't
this
know.
episode.
I feel like I come on here and I feel like I've done the shittiest job ever. My brain
No.
tells me, well done. Like, this was a good episode. And I'm like, really? I feel like I just sat here and I feel crappy. So the days I come super prepared, like ready with my notes and like everything. And like, I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to say this. I just really think I have this point. That's so good. Okay. Okay, episode. I don't know. I don't know if
No.
people would gel with it. I don't know. Do I have to come here and be yourself at least?
Yeah, I think these
Um,
episodes are fun.
yeah, but also we have a good rapport, like you
I
and I
think
have a
we do,
good
yeah.
we have a good rapport. We don't have a serious film brewer here,
No, we
but
don't.
he's gonna edit this, so he's gonna have to listen to us speak about all of this. So good, good, good for him.
Oh,
Good
yeah. I
for him.
really hope my dad doesn't listen to this or any
Oh,
adult in my life.
one in my life doesn't
Oh,
listen.
that would be
But
awkward.
at this point, I've said enough that they either stop listening completely or they just are like they've written me off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've written me off anyway for other reasons. Like I'm definitely like the middle of between like a like golden child and black sheep in my family. I'm like simultaneously both children. I don't know how I
I
do
think that's a
that,
good
but I'm
balance.
yeah, I
I
don't
think it's
I
a
don't
good
know how I do
balance.
that, but I also think I'm like the contrarian child in the sense that they're just like, oh, she just does this. She's just like this. Like I'm like, she's just quirky like that. She's just weird like that. just does this. She just does this. That was a reference for we talk about it. But she just does that. Like, oh, she's doing this thing. Oh, this is just her. She just does this and stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's what I just go no. But my mom keeps asking me for the link, and I keep not sending it.
Don't do
So
it.
I'm gonna keep doing that. Like, I really, really gotta keep running it up. Like, I should stop asking now. So I'm in the clear. I'm in the clear. But anyway, it's been lovely podding with you as
As
always.
always, best time.
Best time ever, and we'll be back again for part
With
two,
part
which will be
two.
another fun conversation, probably even more chaotic than this because I expect it to be even more chaotic of an
Hmm.
episode. Actually, I really hope it is.
I hope it
I'm
is.
really sad we have to wait so long, though.
I can't wait till June. It's too far away. It's too
Yeah,
far.
June is gonna be a really really big month because we have the bear coming back in June.
Ooh,
We
yeah.
have
The boys.
House of the Dragon as well. It's gonna come back around that
Hmm.
time too. We have the boys.
Yeah.
Some other shows I forgot about. There's some movies coming out too. So yeah, it's gonna be a really really hectic month of June with everything coming out. But we're gonna be here delivering you our content. We are consistent. We are there. If you like a show, just type it in. I bet we've covered it.
Yep.
So yes, look on the feed for stuff. We've got the sympathizer, I think, finishing off, and a couple of movies on Is This Cinema, The Fall Guy. Laude and I have just done The Idea of You Together, and our I'm Just Girl movies. That was another fun, chaotic episode. We talked about our history about Wattpad. It was
Hmm.
amazing. Even if you're not a girl, listen to it. Like I said, this is the key for you guys to get girls. No more. No more. Okay? If you know more, it helps. Okay? So just if you want to use us as an education, feel free. Tell your mate, tell your friends, tell your dude friends. Listen, not just
Yep.
girls, everyone. Everyone. And we have the challenges episode with me and Priscilla as well. Yeah, just listen to our feed and just keep coming back. And if please write in to us, email, DM us on Twitter, on Instagram, if you like our stuff, if you don't like our stuff. Also, if you want us to cover something or you thought about something we said and you enjoyed it, etc. Let's have some engagement going on. And also, please DM about your I'm Just a Girl movies,
Yes,
which Lottie and
please.
I are really, really keen on knowing about as well. I had an
Hmm.
entry from someone, one entry, so formal, about us not putting in Gone Girl there. But you know what? We might be dressing girls, but we're also not basic. So we came up with other things. Obviously, Gone Girl is going to be part of
Precisely.
that. I mean, come on. Like, that's a Bible. But, like, um, the Bible, although a very fantastic book, everyone knows the Bible. So we have to put in other books that may not get the coverage that the Bible gets, in that sense. So yeah, we'll be back for part two, and it was lovely potting with you. Au revoir, everyone.
Bye.